That's like Derek. Remember we had a conversation about DNA testing, right? The study came out that between 30 and 40% of all DNA testing came back not the testing father. What about the trauma in that? That's millions of men that's raising a child and eventually find out that ain't even my child.
See, you bring in other layers in.
No, I'm not focusing on that. What I said what I said was it's even worse. If we continue and go dig into this, it's even worse. But what I'm saying is to have the conversation about vindictive women who's using the child as a weapon to get back at the father, the good father. Just have that conversation. Nothing else. Can we just do that?
But we did do that.
And no, we didn't. This whole thing was a yelling contest back and forth.
We just said that if that woman is keeping that child away from him, she should be charged. She should be held accountable for what she did. She should be charged.
That, but saying that, we didn't
be brought up on child. She should be brought up on kidnapping charges.
Oh, hi everybody. Welcome to Candid Conversations. This is all y'all gonna see of me today. So, hi y'all. We could bring on our co-host, Roshawn.
Yo, what was that?
Listen,
that was terrible.
I don't give a hoot and cotton picking in.
Yeah, that was terrible. Welcome to Candid Conversations, everybody. I am Roshawn Davis, your co-host. Host Kyra is having technical difficulties.
There ain't know who the hell I am. And there be the hell I. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know. Hey, Kara, how you doing, boo? Down into my face. I'm irritated and I'm aggravated. And I'm very freaking argumentative today. So
sorry we're late, but it's Kyra's fault.
It ain't my damn fault.
So y'all already know this is gonna be an explosive show.
Yeah, and I hope the devil child come out here today and start some bull crap up here. If he wants to, Thomas will catch it.
Yo, Deacon, let's go. Let's go.
We twins now.
Yeah, I can't stand Derek. Do anybody want a best friend? Because Derek is up for grabs.
Yeah.
I'm giving his ass away to whoever want him.
Double your refreshments. Double your enjoyment. No, there's something that was not like. Double it, come on and double it, gum, the fresh mix.
Yo. This is terrible.
I can't stand them.
Oh, God.
Derek, if you don't turn your camera on and stop playing with me.
You can't tell me what to do. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Oh, God.
Listen, this ain't friends with Dre. Friendly with Dre over there. Get your ass on that screen.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, it's so funny.
It ain't shit funny.
You're right. It's not funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Sean, you want to catch some too?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I already mean it.
They be going against family now.
I said I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. So what's today's show about? What's today's show about?
Bullshit. It's about a bunch of bullshit.
Yo, it's ill because it's about 50-50 and y'all two y'all two is the same motherfucker. Yo, this is terrible. Oh God.
That's Derek trying to be a damn comedian, but whatever.
Trying to be? I've been a comedian.
Trying to be. You trying to be a comedian tonight.
Oh God.
I don't know what you talking about.
We got any videos?
No.
So then let's get on with
Right, I'm gonna stop with my nasty attitude because it's not nobody fault that I have a nasty attitude. So yeah.
So with that being said, we welcome Thomas to the show.
You better not bring his ass up here because he will catch it.
Yo.
He gonna catch something that wasn't meant for him. The topic today is traditional men versus modern men. Pay all the bills or 50-50.
This is a terrible introduction.
Mm-hmm.
It sure is. And it ain't gonna get any better. So y'all gonna have to take what y'all get from me today.
Oh God.
And being very unprofessional.
We love you.
I love you too, Pheasant.
And I love you too.
Get out my face, Derek.
Yo. This is incredible. Yeah, hostess.
Right. Says you want me to get out your face. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm gonna sit here and look like you.
You ain't gonna let me sit here and get jumped.
I'm just gonna stay here and look like you.
Sorry, today ain't a good day. I swear.
Every day that you breathing is a good day.
To be honest, I really don't want to do the podcast.
Thank y'all. Good night.
So, and I'm being honest. No. I'm just telling the truth. So, anywho, choo. Let me try to revamp this. Okay. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing today? Kara says, I think 50-50. It should not be only up to the man. Kara, I agree with you. It shouldn't only be up to the man to pay the bills, but ain't that what men are for?
Huh? Whoa.
That's what you for? And what y'all for? Ain't y'all supposed to be the providers, the protectors? So therefore, if you're you're providing for the house, right?
No. That's the problem. That's the problem. You can't even say traditional or modern, because traditional, even being the term traditional man, is off. We've been lied to. We've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so many years, and because we've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so many years, you women have become entitled.
Why we got to be drinking the Kool-Aid?
Because that's what we've been doing. Because the traditional man, women have been teaching their daughters traditionally that the man is the head of the household, that the man is supposed to provide, the man is the provider, sole provider. He's supposed to take care of everything, and all you're supposed to do is take care of the home.
Well, yeah.
Right.
And right now,
we've been drinking the Kool-Aid all this time, and that's why we sit here and a lot of women are we as people, we sit here, and a lot of women are sitting here as privileged little brats.
Looking behind that.
Huh? And we got to stop it. Enough is enough.
Stop what?
Stop. We have to retrain our thinking. It sounds good. It sounds great on paper. It's awesome. But the reality of it is, if we're gonna go back to the original blueprint of how things were supposed to be.
Well, what was the original blueprint?
If you go back,
what was the original blueprint, Derek?
If we go biblical, okay, I'm gonna put my deacon hat on, put my tune me up.
But we can't see you over Kyra, so
no, you can hear me. That my deacon, I don't have a hat. I'm put my
because it just looked like Kyra got a manly voice.
Sometimes, but if we look back in the book of Genesis, we will find in the garden.
Hey, Erica, how you doing, boo?
That God created the whole world. And it says
that
the world was. Are you really cutting into my sermon? You so disrespectful.
I'm being disrespectful right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You out of control. I'm done. Never mind.
I'm out of control.
Finish, Derek. I want to hear this.
When we go back into Genesis, God created the heaven and the earth, all that good stuff, right? After he did all that, he created man. And he made man the rule, he gave man rule over everything, right? He then he charged man and gave man a job to do. As man was doing the job, he then looks at the man doing the job and says, it's not right for man to be alone. I'm going to make him a helpmate and will call her woman. No, Adam named her, but he said, I'm going to make her a helpmate. He then puts Adam to sleep, removes Adam's rib, creates life, and Adam named that life woman. Her job was to be his helpmate, meaning the work that he was doing, her job was to be there to help him do the work and not be alone in that doing that work alone. So we go back to the original makeup that started in the garden. We are so off task with this whole man is supposed to pay everything, a man's supposed to provide, when it's supposed to be we're working together. You're my help.
The Bible says over that?
Huh? Yes, the Bible says it. You want to get
all
scripture?
of that?
Huh?
It says all of that.
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to give you scriptures?
I'm not gonna read them, but if you want to get the people at home. I take your word for it.
But we have gotten so far off of the plan that we have this whole misconception of, and we all do. So when we say traditional man, that's because that's the traditional man has been, society has shaped this man into what society wants it to be. But the fact of the matter is, there should be that this man's supposed to have help. If he doesn't have help, if he doesn't have a help, his person, his wife is supposed to be there helping him. Not sitting there and saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna make sure you cook. I'm gonna make sure I cook the food. I'm gonna make sure the kids is washed, and you handle everything else."
But that's not helping
because you the
man.
man.
So that's not helping. I said that's not helping.
But that doesn't stop. That does not start. That does not start or stop the help.
Miss Darlene said help implies you're doing something so he can help her, so he can help her have babies.
He did help her have babies. That's how she got pregnant.
That's a wife's duty. Thomas, ain't no such if Thomas.
How many people I gotta put a bell on Thomas when he come on so we can Thomas come in shooting immediately. But
if that's a wife's duty, then it's the man's duty to pay all the bills in the house.
Understanding that a woman, the stuff that women go through, if we still biblically, the stuff that women go through, you don't blame, is blamed on Eve, because that was the punishment for Eve listening to the serpent. The man had his stuff that his punishment. Women had their punishment. The man's punishment was that the serpent will be their enemy, and that they will sweat by the brow from the sun. Women would have painful childbirth. These were punishments.
I ain't have no painful childbirth.
Right, because there's medicine, but the stuff that you go through carrying a child, going back biblically, was because of the disobedience of Adam and Eve. So the stuff that we go through today is that disobedience from that beginning.
Darlene says, then why are men so helpless these days? I don't get it. Hey, Kamisha, how you doing, love?
We're not talking about helpless. That's not the coast. That's not the title today. We're not talking about helpless men.
There is no one right way to do it. You two have to come to an agreement how you will share your lives.
I got a question. What does she mean by why are men so helpless? What does she mean by that?
Darlene, Roshan got a question for you.
Yeah, what do you mean? Why are men so helpless?
Hi, Mr. Williams.
Because I think we follow a narrative that's not accurate when you look into the data, and we continue that narrative to follow maybe an idea that we want to push forward. But there's helpless men like there's helpless women. But anybody can say that with your anecdotal, with your reality. But,
all right, Mr. Scotty. Mrs. Scotty said men are far from helpless. All right, Darlene, they getting on you about your comment.
I just want clarity. I mean, her truth is her truth. She have her data like I have my data. I mean, you got yours, bring it.
There's troubles in the water.
There ain't no trouble. It's never trouble.
They coming for you, Miss Darlene.
Never trouble. I put my feet in this water.
Mr. Scotty, ain't nobody talking about you, Roshan.
His feet is in the water.
This is not troubled water. This is easy.
That's commenting.
This is easy work.
Mr. Scotty says society is painting a poor picture of men. There is a concentrated attack against the male role model. I can agree with that.
So why wouldn't you fight for men more? If you know that, hold on, let me finish the statement. Why wouldn't you fight for men more if you know that there's an agenda against men?
Who said that women don't fight for men?
I said you.
What about men? What I say about men?
I said, why wouldn't you fight for men more if you know that it's an agenda against men?
What would you
do? Because there has always been this has always been a systematic thing. You break down the black family.
Huh? Sarah, you gotta pin it.
I'm pinning it now. You break down. I just shared it, but I'm looking for it now. You break down the black family by removing the man from it. This has been systematically. When you take the man out of the home, you take away the head. The saying is, you take away the head, the body will fall.
Thank you, Camille.
This has been happening way back. This has been happening for slavery. What they happened? They would take the male slave away from his family, take the boy away from the family, sell them off. What happens to that family dynamic? Is no longer. There's nobody there to protect. There's nobody there to reproduce. It's always been an attack on the black male. For what? Because the black male is should be the head. But what has happened is women have taken on that lead of head through slavery times, through war. They have stepped up and took the lead. But then when men came home, another attack. Now the government says, hey, you can let him back in your house, or you can take this $225 a week food stamps and live on your own. A woman then says, oh, so if I got money, what do I need him here for? Because I can provide. If they're giving me the money, I don't need you. So this has been a systematic thing that has been taking men out of the home, which has ultimately been affecting the family. That's what I said, Kamisha.
Darlene says, in my opinion, wait, hold up. I'm trying to figure this out. Darlene says, in my opinion, I have much respect for men that can take the reins and make things happen. Women should be there too and make sure you work together to the agreed upon end. But to imply we expect too much from men, I'll take issues with. I like to know that when I can't get it done, my man, partner, husband will be there as well as myself. There is a thing against men, but I don't think black women do that.
Well, they gave black women an option, and black women took the option. So it wasn't something that y'all did. It wasn't something y'all orchestrated, but it was something y'all carried out. Because if the government said, okay, we're not going to give, if the government said, okay, don't put that black man in your house and you get this money, and you say, no, that's fine, I'm gonna stick with my black man and we'll figure it out ourselves.
But to what extent
we having a different conversation today?
Well, but to what extent did they have to figure it out? Did these black men come home with jobs to help out in the house?
Yes,
so
yes, they have. There's actually a report. There's actually a report called the Monahan Report that proved that black men came home from the war and went back to work. White men came back from the war and went back to work. White women jobs went down. They went back into the homes. Black women, instead of going back into the homes, they kept that money. That's in the Monahan Report. I keep saying it. Read it. Read the Monahan Report. Stop going back and forth about your opinions and your feelings. Read the report and you will see it.
Well, that's why
I read the report. I read it.
You're right. There hasn't been a war in how long, but it was what started. And even
hold on. There was a Vietnam War that went from the 50s and it ended in the 70s.
No, but that's what she's saying. She's saying
I'm answering, and that's my point. Right. That's my point. We got a lot of feelings and emotions and not enough research.
Absolutely. I agree.
The Vietnam War ended in the 70s.
Am I doing this right?
But the food stamp thing, is old, but it still was a plan. It was a plan that was set in place.
That was in the 60s. That was in the 60s.
That is still in place.
Yeah, there were programs that was ran throughout that whole time, and that's what you were talking about, Derek. It was programs that ran throughout that whole time where it was systematically put in place because, for one, it was for help. Mm-hmm. It was for help. But what Monahan saw was once the men came back from war, some things changed in one dynamic, but it didn't change in another.
Right.
And so they were looking at why wasn't it changed in the other? Because the same thing happened. When the men went to war, the women went to work. Then when the men came back, not all women went back into the homes or, minimized their working. So that's where the problem began. And then that's where, even because welfare started in the early 1900s. I mean, probably the end of 1800s. I mean, but there were plenty welfare reforms throughout the 1900s. There wasn't one welfare reform. There were a few that happened. Right. You can look it up. I mean, and through the 60s, even with the women's liberation movement, I mean, that came at the end of the 60s. After all the assassinations and this and that, and of the assassinations after that, that's when I think Johnson had wrote in where the women's liberation movement would be attached to the civil rights movement.
Yes, Commission.
And that's right. That's where they seen that more. That's where affirmative action came into play, and they seen that white women benefited more from affirmative action than black men and women. But we don't do enough research. We speak so much on feelings and what we think versus doing the actual research. The Monahan report will tell you the whole story.
Darlene said the black women today that are holding it down for food stamps, the black family is still headed by women more than any other race. That's now
right. But the black woman, the black man is absent in the household. And as and now you're talking about generational cursing. Now you're talking about women who are raising up other women to say you don't need a man. And more than so, you're also showing them by you being without a man that you don't need a man. So now they say, well, I don't need a man. So they're not doing it for welfare anymore. They're doing it because it's what they've been taught by sight and what they've been taught by lessons.
Yes. So to follow up on that, Derek, it's not because of negligence. We have to stop the whole thing by choice and by negligence. It's not by negligence. It's not because men don't want to deal with their, to be there for their children. As I stated, as far as the data is concerned, that men in America is rated the number one fathers, and black men are rated the number one fathers in America. Rated number one. But black women are rated number one in birth out of wedlock. But black men are still stepping up to the plate. Why? Because we got to go to the courts. We got to go to courts to see our children. I mean, and not saying that all women are keeping men from their children, but this is just the data. This is just the facts. I'm not going to go back and forth with somebody's feelings. This is just the facts and the data. Our children is born out of 80% out of wedlock. 80%. Which is, of course, it's sad because at one point in time, we were 80% married. We were 20% out of wedlock. Now we're 80% out of wedlock. But Black men are rated #1. So that means that not only that Black men are willing to work with, they're going to the court systems to get custody and joint custody of their children. I pose the question of why do Black men have to fight so hard to get custody? That on the flip side of that, it has to be somebody that's keeping them from trying to get custody. Why do Black men have to fight so hard to get joint custody of their children in a fight? It shouldn't be a fight, especially when Black men are rated #1 in America as far as fathers are concerned.
Kamisha, she asked the question: these black women having children out of wedlock, are they with Black men? Are we having these children out of wedlock alone? And no, you're not. You're not. But it's your choice, and your choice. We gotta stop doing that. Your choice of man, like we did this show. We did this show, I think, a month ago.
Yeah,
where
we gotta stop doing that. That's
have to. You pick the type of man that you decide you want to have a child with.
Exactly.
When you laid down, you said, "I want a man." You made your choices of the type of man you wanted. You went out and got that man. You laid with that man. You had children with that man, and then find out after the fact that man is not the man that man wasn't worth nothing, and then you want to blame all men for your bad choice.
Exactly. Can't do that. It's your body, your choice. You can't use your body, your choice at your benefit, but it's not to your accountability. It doesn't work that way. If it's your body, your choice, when it's to your benefit, it's when it's time to be accountable as well. You lay down with that man, you have to be held accountable for laying down with a man that ain't shit that you let into your body. Simple as that.
So it's all men. So it's all men's fault. So what you're telling us is it's every man's fault that the man you chose to lay down with did not handle what he needed.
And it ended up to be not shit. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That has nothing to do with being biased. It's about the fact that if a man lays with a woman and she ain't nothing like Roshan said, it's the man's fault.
It's his fault.
A crazy baby mother who puts him on child support, who busts out his windows. What do y'all say? Do y'all say, "Oh,
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that." We don't sit here and say women are biased. What men do is we go to court and we fight. That's why Black men are rated #1 in America, because we chose to fight for our children. Simple as that. We chose to fight. We ain't sit there and cry and run with our tails between our legs. We said, no, if you don't want me to see my children, I'm going to fight to see my children. Simple as that. So if you chose a man that don't want to do for his child, that's the man that you chose.
And you're absolutely right, Kamisha. It's both parties' fault, but that's not the question you're
That's
asking.
not what we're saying. Yeah, that's not what we're saying. We're saying it's time to hold women accountable for that choice.
We're not saying it's one person's fault over the other. We're saying that whenever this conversation comes up, it's always one side. It's always the man, like that man laid you down, took your womanness and said, now raise this baby on your own. We make decisions.
Yeah, that's not what we're saying. Everybody should be held accountable. But the one thing that we never hear is you guys hold women accountable for your actions.
Right. That's the problem. So
that's the problem.
Because all we're saying is stand and be accountable. The same way we hold a man accountable for what he did, you stand accountable and say, you know what? I made the decision to lay with him. I made the decision when he did not wear protection, or I made the decision to have this child with this man. That's all we asking for.
Instead of saying, oh, well, men do it too. That's not the answer to everything. That's not accountable answer for everything. Men do it too. That's not what it is. It's time to start holding yourselves accountable instead of trying to.
No, Ms. Darlene. Women are not accountable by taking care of their children. Women are taking care of their children.
Are you serious?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
That couldn't have been an answer.
Accountable is saying, you know what?
I was wrong, so it stops.
Right. He wasn't the right person. Some people have not only have one father who ain't nothing or didn't do. Most times they have multiple children with that same man who ain't doing nothing.
So where's the accountability? Yes.
But then you want to sit here and talk about accountability because you took care of a child.
Yeah, that's not accountability. That's your duty as a parent. That's what that is. That's your duty as a parent. That's not accountability. Accountability is, you know what? I was wrong for procreating with this person. Further, dealing with accountability is maybe I shouldn't have number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. That's accountability. Taking care of a child is your duty as a parent.
And it's sad that he's not doing his duty.
This is true.
That's the point. Like it's very unfortunate that there are not enough, that those men who choose not to take care of their children. It's very unfortunate that that's what they're doing, because a child deserves their mother and their father in their village. Raising them and showing them how to be that man or that woman. That always is what's important. What we're not screaming that's not what's important.
Yeah, we're not holding men accountable.
Everybody
needs to be accountable.
Everybody.
Yeah, okay. I understand that everybody, we all get it. Everybody got to hold themselves accountable for the decisions that they make. But this is not the topic of the conversation. The topic of the conversation is pay all the bills or 50-50. That's the topic of the conversation.
Well, it's a microcosm. It's a microcosm because
this and that. It ain't even all about that.
And I'll tap into it. It's micro into it because sometimes you choose men that can't even afford the 50-50. Sometimes you're choosing the wrong men. They can't even afford it. But I will say this. As far as culture is concerned, as far as tradition is concerned, the one thing that I always say about this, and Derek, follow me on this, and as far as traditional men was to provide and protect, right? Whatever that meant within our communities in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it was. What I always tell people, don't compare a traditional man now and a traditional men then when you're comparing traditional women now and comparing traditional women then, because it's two totally different dynamics. If you're talking about a man now and his job for taking care of a home is totally different from when our grandfathers and great-grandfathers took care of a home. Capitalism came into play and did a job on us. Technology did a job on us. When my grandfather, who I never met, when my grandfather was in play, there was no iPhones, there was no red bottoms, there was no Benzes with GPS, there was no Dubai, there was no $1,000 wigs and $500 eyelashes. There was not all of these different things. So capitalism and a different culture came into play. Now, what I always tell people, if you want that traditional man that my grandfather was, you're going to have to dial back all of the luxuries that you choose to dial into today, because my grandmother didn't travel to Dubai. right? She didn't have iPhones. She didn't have iPods and EarPods, and she didn't have all of these different technologies. She didn't have all of these different things. If you want a normal, regular household, I'm pretty sure the average man, think what I said, the average man can take care of that household. But once you start dialing into all of the other things that you want, because we're living in the Instagram and Facebook life of we want this glamorous life that our traditional families didn't have. So if you want this glamorous lifestyle, that come with a different type of man. That's not a traditional man. I mean, traditional men take care of the house, and that's what you get. You get a regular, normal house. Some of these women that now they want mansions and Ferraris and Bentleys and $1,000 hairstyle appointments, and they want to be flown out every other day. That's not the same thing as what our grandfathers took care of. That wasn't tradition back then. So when you compare the two, and you have a different culture, and you have a capitalism that poured into what we see now as our reality, as far as what we see, the visual, it's not the same. So stop comparing the two. It's not the same. If you want a nice 3-bedroom house with, your little Honda, and the kids go to public school, and you go to IKEA and you go to Walmart to get your little clothes. Like we went to Jacobs, right? We went to Jacobs and Woolworth and all of those different things. If you want that, then that's fine. But all of you that want these $1,000 hairdos and these red bottoms and these Benzes and these 5 and 6 bedroom houses, and you want to fly out all the time, you want vacations when you want, that's not your normal traditional household that our grandfathers dealt with. So stop saying, oh, if you want a traditional woman like grandma, you need to be a traditional man like grandpa. No, because you can cook the same chicken that grandma cooked, but you don't want me to do the same shit that grandpa did. Two totally different things. We can go home now? It's over?
I was looking up the scripture, because according to Kamisha, there's crickets off of what Ms. Darlene said. Maybe I'm old school, but I have been comforted that when things were difficult in my relationship, financially or otherwise, I knew my husband was going to work things out regardless of my contribution. Although I contributed. I have an iPhone, a nice home, a car, and I travel. I think that's traditional. I don't have any red bottoms.
You don't need a cell phone. You don't need an iPhone. I'll say that. You don't need an iPhone. There's actually a black cell phone company called Figures Communication that's cheaper than iPhone. I was telling people that when they were going through the whole "we gonna boycott," but they were on Facebook on their iPhones. It was like, you're not boycotting on communication on an app that supports white supremacy or somebody who's running a campaign who believes in white supremacy. You can actually get a black cell phone company's business called Figures Communication. So all of that stuff you don't need. That's what you want. You want those things. You don't need them. You don't need the car that you have. Some people, they want to go and get these. You can get a reliable used car and build your resources, build your money. You can do all of these different things. It's a lot of things that we want. I see the labels. I see the clothes. I see all of these different things. When you're talking tradition, you're talking about having a roof over your head, clothes on your back, food in your mouth. Food in your mouth.
What's wrong with that?
I don't have a problem with that. Is when you start to add on to that is when you get away from the conversation. See, tradition is tradition. Now, your likes confused with what your needs is where we get it confused.
Right.
You can take public transportation. You don't need a Benz, right? You don't need a Mercedes.
Okay, but all right, as you saying, the traditional man paid for the bills in the house and he paid
a regular normal lifestyle. Regular, simple.
Okay, so therefore, anything extra, if it's a regular basic lifestyle that he is willing to pay for, if anything is extra coming out of that, why can't she just pay for that stuff herself if she want other things?
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Me dealing with that whole 50-50 lifestyle, I believe in every household is different.
Right.
Every household is different. Every mindset is different.
Absolutely.
You know, every relationship is different. You have some women that feel like they don't want to pay for nothing. You have some women that say, you know what, I want to contribute because that will free up him to do more things. So you have different mindsets out here. You got a lot that's going on.
A lot of mindsets are being once again influenced by society and once again being influenced by social media.
Yes.
That says that as the brother said earlier, that you as a man, you are weak if you allow for your woman to pay anything. You are not truly a man when you allow for your woman to contribute to the house or contribute. And that's where I said what my statement was from the beginning, that we have a lot of women who are sitting here entitled and feeling like all they have to do is be pretty, smell good, have a big butt, keep their toes done, keep their nails done, keep their teeth white, and that's all they need to bring to the table to attract and keep a good man who is a traditional man who's going to pay all the bills. I watched a video the other day where a woman said, if a man makes $50,000, if he only makes $50,000, he should not date. Only $50,000, he should not date. She said, she then goes on to say that you need, if you make 50,000, you find you a bottom B word who don't ask for nothing, who don't want for nothing, who are not going to stretch you and make you become the man you're supposed to be.
And I think that's what I was speaking on, Derek, because that's going to go into the lifestyle that you want, because you can live off of 50,000. You can live off of that. But when you choose to want this and want that and want that and want that and want that, which is no problem, I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with anybody wanting more. But when you talk in tradition, you're talking about roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your back. That's what our traditional families dealt with.
Yeah,
stop comparing what our traditions was back then to what you want to have that created to look like now. It's not the same. We didn't even have YouTube back then.
Right. But
I'm talking my son that today.
First of all, Kamisha, I said that there are some women. I didn't say all women. I said some women. Kamisha, you're being a brick, and I need you to be a sponge. I need you to listen and bring it in so you can listen to respond and comprehend. Okay? Because I said some women, not all women. There are women out here who don't think like that. But there are some women, and those are the women who are getting on social media and screaming that out to the rooftops so that our young girls who are coming up, listening to them and not listening to the women who are sitting inside the church or who are sitting inside of an office who said, I'm here to work and do whatever I need to do with my what I need to do with my man. They're listening to the hot girls
Derek, they're not even listening to looking at the reality of what they're asking for. When you're talking about a man that makes 100,000 or 200,000, that's a small percentage of people, not men, of people. There's even a smaller percentage of women that make 100,000. It's a small percentage of men that make 100,000. It's like 13%. I mean, it's not a lot of men that make that. So it's not the reality for the majority. The majority is 50%. I mean, it's not even a reality of the majority of people. 51% is the majority. It's not even a reality of the majority of people that live in America. The average black man in America makes around $45,000 to $50,000 a year. That's average. That's average. That's 51% of the people. 51%. And now you're talking 13% that make 100,000 and more. Everybody else makes within that 52 to 70 something percent. I mean, so you looking for a man that make that type of money to be able to sit you down to where you ain't got to work. For one, are you the type of woman that man will choose? Are you around the area where those men are? And will that man choose you? That's the problem. That's the problem we deal with. People don't even know how realistic they should look at this situation. The average man makes $50,000 a year. The average man. But you have a bunch of women that want over average men. It's not enough of. It's not enough $100,000 and $1 million men for every woman that's walking on this earth. Some of you guys are going to get average men. And that's just a fact.
But that, once again, that goes all the way back in history. Everybody didn't get a king or
that's the point. That's the point.
Everybody, you got the man that you were supposed to have.
Yes.
And some people may have lucked out and got a king, but some people may have got a farmer. Some people may have gotten a baker or.
But now everybody want kings. Everybody want kings, and the farmer is beneath that person.
Right.
When that person may not make what the farmer makes.
Absolutely. Because
we believe in hypergamy, right? A lot of women believe in hypergamy. They want somebody that make more than them, to take care of them, to provide and protect. And I agree. But you don't have to make $100,000 a year or $150,000 a year or $200,000 a year to be able to provide and protect.
But that's where my opening argument was, because women have a mindset, and that's why I said with this tradition.
Some women
have this mindset that most women have a mindset that they're supposed to be taken care of. But
that's not the reality. That's not the reality, because living in this day and age, not all men are making enough to take care of certain women solely on their own to provide the lifestyle that they want. Now, like I said, if you want the normal traditional household where you got a roof over your head, you got food in your mouth, you got clothes on your back, you don't need no Mercedes, you don't need no red bottoms, you don't need to fly out every 2-3 months or twice a year. You don't need all of that. If you don't need all of that, that average man will do it for you.
You know what's exhausting? You know what's exhausting? What's exhausting is women, and this is why I'm talking about this. What's exhausting is the fact that there are some women who keep throwing his word about settling down when you were created to help. That was your creation. From creation, you were created to help. You were not created. God did not create you to become a burden on another man. He gave man enough to do. From the garden, he gave man enough to do. He created you to help.
I don't like the settle word, because it's only attached to when women feel some women feel they're not getting the man they think they deserve. Because what kills settling is hypergamy. Hypergamy means if you want a man or a woman or a person that make equal or more than you. So if that person make more than you financially, that person is settling for you. So how are you settling if you believe in equality or anything like that? How do you feel that you're settling for somebody? When normally, me working with the data, me looking at situations and being in conversations, it's not typically when they say I'm settling for, it's typically is not when a man makes less. It's when a man doesn't make more than what that man it's typically when a man doesn't make more than what that man possess when he approaches you. So if you want a man that make 100,000 and that man that comes, he only makes 60,000, you feel you're settling. I'm supposed to settle for a man that makes 60,000 when I believe I deserve a man that make 100,000, but I only make 40,000. You're not settling. He make more than you. But you have this idea in your mind that you deserve a man that make $1 million a year when you only make 30. He's settling for you.
And there's videos out there, social media that's out there where they interview random women and they say, well, how much should a man make to date you? They be like, at least 100,000, 200,000 a year. Like, okay, so what do? I don't do nothing.
Exactly. He's settling for you. But because you believe you deserve a man of a certain stature, a regular average man coming to you that you probably are equal to. You don't believe that he's equal to. You believe that you're settling for him because you just believe you should get somebody higher than that because you cute. And that's not the way that men of a higher stature pick women. Just because you're cute. It's a million cute and beautiful women. It's millions of you.
Miss Darlene, there's no that relationship is a part of a dying breed. Now relationships are based off of livelihoods and what can you bring, and if I'm gonna have to struggle, then I can do that by myself, not with someone else.
That's where the settlement come from.
So when you talk about relationship based on love and attraction, that's gone. That's out the door because love don't live there anymore. Like it's all about material and money. Here we go, Jiggets, with this roommate with benefits. So we not even like we coming in at 58 and we can't even get started. We can't even go any further. This was a great conversation, Kat. We gonna have to do a part 2 where we actually stay on topic. So we can really talk more. But Kat, you want to wind us up?
Thank everybody for coming. Y'all have a blessed night.
Roshan, you got your final remarks?
Roshan left the building.
Miss Darlene, you're not out of touch. You're not out of touch, Miss Darlene. It's just the reality of today's society.
I'm back.
That is not the thing that people want. People love left a long time ago. So right now it's all about, as Miss Jiggets says, is about women not settling and having roommates with benefits. That's what it's about. It's not about being in love, finding your person to love for y'all to build. It's about people finding that person, that baller who's gonna spend money on them.
That selling and stuff is weird. That settling stuff is weird. I've seen some women that make, 40,000, 50,000, and a man that makes 60,000. They feel that they're settling because he don't make 100. It's weird. You're not settling. He make more than you. But I get it. If you want a man that make more, but that man may not choose you.
Right.
Because he have more options. So that whole 50-50 thing, I think that's a certain type of guy. I think that's a certain type of guy. I think that's a certain type of household.
It shouldn't even be that it's a certain type of guy. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, find your person, find your person that's going to love, that's going to honor, that's going to cherish, and y'all figure everything else out. All this other stuff is minute, and that's why I can't talk to white America, but I can speak on Black America. That's why we are in the situations that we are in today, because we don't know how to find our person and do what we need to do as our person with our person to make our lives better. We spend all our time focusing on the wrong things, and then none of us, as I said, none of us are taking accountability for the wrong decisions we make, and we sit around and blame and point the blaming fingers all day. So my last statement is going to be, let's get back to family. No. My final statement is, let's get back to Eden. Men, find your rightful place. Look for your person. Women, find your rightful place and be the help that God created you to be. And if for some people, your help may be doing dishes and taking care of the baby. To some other women, your help may be getting out, going to job, and paying 50-50. Some other women may have to be in the middle. But whatever it needs, whatever your help it needs, that's what you should be willing to do. Y'all have a great night, and we will check y'all out next week. Good night.